Alright, okay. Good morning, everyone. Okay, for today, we are going to learn about elements in group 17. Okay, last week kita dah learn about in group 18, in group 1. Okay, sebelum kita start, kita nak semua tengok video ni dulu. Alright, for group 17, okay, we call group 17 elements in group 17 as halogens. HALOGENS. Okay, siapa kalau pernah dengar lampu, bukan lampu lah kalau kita tengok kan, lampu selalunya, lampu kalau siapa pernah want to buy light bulb ataupun bulb lampu tu kan yang panjang, dia akan tulis sama ada halogen ataupun LED. Dalam halogen selalu dia akan bubur, kalau lampu kereta lah selalunya dia light bulb tu, dalam tu dia akan ada gas halogen lah. Okay, for halogen group 18 ni we call as, if you can see my screen, okay, kita ada belah kiri kita ada fluorine. Fluorine is colorless gas. And then kita ada, after chlorine we have chlorine. Okay, chlorine is greenish yellow. Dia macam kuning-kuning hijau-hijau, macam warna muntah tu. Greenish yellow gas. Okay, and after that we have a reddish brownish ataupun brownish reddish lah, something macam tu, liquid. Okay, at room temperature, this bromine you call as liquid bromine. Okay, this in liquid state, it's a reddish brownish, warna-warna merah keperang-perangan. And then we have iodine. Okay, iodine is in color dia adalah in room temperature, it is solid ataupun crystal, it's purple. Okay, after iodine we have astatine, solid juga, black kot, around black solid macam tu. Alright, in experiment we mostly akan focus on chlorine, bromine and iodine. Why? Sebab fluorine is colorless, so it is susah kita nak nampak. Okay, and the astatine tu pun down the group and then is not very reactive. Therefore kita akan fokus on chlorine, bromine and iodine. And dalam ni juga kita boleh tengok they have three state of matter. For example, chlorine is in gas, bromine is in liquid, and iodine is in crystal ataupun solid. Alright, next kita tengok video ni.
Next comes chlorine, which is greenish yellow. Fluorine and chlorine are both gases at room temperature.
Okay, they are both gases at room temperature.
Is a liquid, and iodine is a solid. Even so, they're both quite volatile.
Okay, volatile it means mudah meruap. Okay, macam kalau mudah meruap, for example, volatile punya substances, contohnya macam minyak petrol. Kalau kita spraykan minyak petrol tu atas lantai, sekejap je dia akan kering. Bukan maksud kering lah, maksud dia akan bertukar jadi gas. For example, macam hand sanitizer juga. Kalau kita letak kat tangan, kita bukan lap tangan lah, kita sapu-sapu kat tangan. Dalam beberapa saat saja, in seconds, dia akan meruap. From liquid, dia akan bertukar jadi gas. Sebab in hand sanitizer, we have alcohol. Alcohol tu ada dua function lah. Basically, to kill the germs and bacteria. And then, satu lagi dia ni lah, supaya dia senang meruap. Okay. And then, that's why dalam hand sanitizer tak boleh bubur alkohol saja. So, can ada aloe vera juga supaya our hands tak akan jadi mudah kering lah. Okay, dia akan melembabkan. Okay, melembabkan tu bukan melembabkan yang lembab macam perlahan tu. Dia moisturize your skin. Ada aloe vera tu. Alright, next week.
Above the liquid bromine and purple above the solid iodine.
Okay, when we are using these elements, okay, apa precautions yang kita kena ada? Someone remember that in our group, in our chapter 1, when we're handling this volatile elements, kita nak kena conduct dekat mana? Can we just do it on our table in the lab? Anyone? Remember at the back in at the very back of our lab, we have apa? Remember yang besar tu, what we have?
In the chat.
Sorry?
It's all in
It's all in?
the chat.
No, it's not. It's not correct. Don't make them fall. This don't make them fall is applies to all chemicals. Okay, kita kena handle. You have to handle it properly. Okay, for this volatile elements yang mudah meruap, we must use it in our film cupboard ataupun film chamber. Must on the film chamber. Okay, ada exhaust dalam tu, so it will make sure that kita tak akan ni lah apa terhidu apa inhale this fumes. And then basically group 17 mostly are toxic, okay, but later we are going to learn the application of group 17 in our daily life, even though they are very toxic. Okay, next kita continue.
Liquid or gas, the halogen elements consist of diatomic molecules.
Okay, diatomic molecules. I mean, okay, F2,
Cl2,
Cl2,
Br2, and I2.
Okay, it's not like bukan macam group 18 and group 1. Group 1 because they are metals, so they can exist as by themselves lah. Macam Na, sodium can exist as Na. And for group 18, He can exist as He, krypton, Kr, argon, Ar. But for this group 17, it can only exist as as Cl2, Br2, because diatomic, because they are not not stable lah kalau by themselves. So they must have another friend, okay, kena ada seorang lagi kawan with the same element, and then they will share the electron. Yes, naturally not stable.
Fluorine reacts often ferociously with almost everything else.
Okay, this is the demonstration. This is iron wool. Okay, kalau kita berus ataupun bukan berus lah, kita panggil sebagai bukan kain. This is iron. Okay, iron besi, bukan iron setrika baju tu. This is iron wool. Okay, and then burn it with fluorine gas.
Sets iron wool on fire.
Okay, instantly sets iron wool on fire. Okay, secara terus this sets the iron wool on fire. Okay, and for fun facts, okay, fluorine is the most electronegative elements. Electronegative meanings it can receive electron. Maksudnya dia lagi suka receive electron. Okay, the for the electronegative value for fluorine is 4.0, paling tinggi. Okay, 4.0. Okay, the fluorine is in gas state, okay, gaseous state.
Fire. And it does the same thing to charcoal.
Okay, this is just using fluorine gas and charcoal.
There's hydrogen in the balloon. A jet of fluorine gas pierces the balloon and explodes with the hydrogen inside. Let's see it again in slow motion. Now you can see the fireball more clearly. Now the reaction between hydrogen and chlorine. I light the hydrogen at the jet and lower it into a jar of chlorine. The hydrogen carries on burning, but with a pale blue flame. When the halogens react with hydrogen, the hydrogen halides are produced. HF, HCl.
Okay, we call ion for halogen, we call it halides. Okay, so chlorine akan jadi chloride, and then bromine, bromide, iodine, iodide, fluorine, fluoride. Okay, kalau bahasa Melayu kita panggil sebagai halida lah. Okay, klorida. Okay, nama sedap-sedap ni, boleh namakan kalau ni Nama kucing. Kucing nama apa? Chlorida. Halida.
HBr, and HI. In each
But-
compound, the halogen has a valency of 1.
Okay, remember
All
valency
4
tu,
compounds are
valency tu bermaksud the outer shell, apa? The outermost shell, electrons in the outermost shell.
gases. They're also very soluble in water. Here's water swallowing a jar of hydrogen chloride.
Okay, this is a reaction of okay, this is basically hydrogen halides with water. But for chemical properties, we are going to learn about reaction of chloride, group 17 with water, with alkali, and with metal.
Now let's see how the halogens react with aluminium.
Okay, this is with metal.
When aluminium powder meets fluorine gas, the reaction's over in a flash.
Okay, observe the reactivity. Okay, the differences. The first thing tadi dia guna fluorine. Okay, and then after that kita tengok
To get chlorine to react with
react with
aluminium, I'll
aluminium.
heat some foil in a stream of the gas. The white fumes are aluminium trichloride.
Okay, it is slightly, quite slightly, it's slower than when react with fluorine tadi tu. Kalau fluorine, kalau kita tengok
The reaction's over
instantaneously,
in a flash.
pejam
To
mata
get
sekejap je, terus
chlorine to react with
jadi.
aluminium,
But
I'll
for
heat some
chlorine,
foil in a stream of the gas.
very taklah
The
slow.
white fumes
Very
are
slow, it's slow.
aluminium trichloride.
Okay.
With bromine, I just drop aluminium
for
foil
bromine.
into the liquid. There's a short delay, but normal service is soon resumed. Once the reaction gets going, it quickly takes on the appearance of the pit of hell. As with the chlorine reaction, there's white smoke. That's aluminium tribromide. The reaction with iodine is just as spectacular. A little warming helps to get things moving, but once the reaction's off,
Okay, if you can see, kalau dengan liquid, okay, liquid bromine, kita just drop je aluminium tu in that liquid bromine. But for iodide, for iodine, okay, we need to heat it up because kalau tak ada haba, heat energy, it will take much longer lah. That's why kalau we can observe going down the group, kalau semua tidak predictable, fluorine paling atas, okay, and then iodine dekat bawah. Okay, when it going down the group, the reactivity decreases. Okay, maksud dia reactivity dia semakin perlahan. For example, tadi fluorine tu sekejap je, instantaneous je, terus jadi. Tutup mata sekejap, satu saat, tak sampai satu saat, terus jadi. But with going down the group, for liquid bromine it take a while, and for iodine pun it take much longer time daripada dengan fluorine tadi tu.
it needs no further assistance.
Okay, remember the color, okay, tengok color.
The
It's
products of
purple.
all 4 of these reactions are white solids,
Okay,
and
product
they're all
basically are
trihalides.
white.
AL3, AlCl3, AlBr3, and AlI3. Now aluminium is a trivalent element, so in these compounds the halogens are all showing a valency of 1. That valency of 1 is also satisfied when the halogen atoms bind to one another in the diatomic molecules with which I start this sequence.
Alright, okay, and then kita akan tengok, okay, this is kita tengok halogen reactivity.
Hello, welcome chemist. In this demonstration, we're going to look at the reactivity of a few of the different halogens, notably chlorine, bromine, and iodine.
Okay,
We're
iodine
taking the
tu
elemental
basically
form
dia
of
dah
these
dilute with water. Okay,
elements, so I2, Br2, and Cl2.
bukan dilute lah,
Each
dia
of these
dah
elements
yes,
are dissolved in a little
dissolve
bit of water
a little bit of
to make
water.
all of these solutions aqueous solutions. We are going to test the reactivity of all of these elements by reacting them with the ionic form.
Okay, and the toxicity pun decreases down the group. Bermaksud fluorine paling toxic, And then down the group, dia kurang toxic lah. Okay, because the reactivity decreases.
of the other corresponding elements. For example, we're going to react chlorine or Cl2 with sodium bromide and sodium iodide. We're going to react bromine with the corresponding chloride and iodide, and then iodine with the corresponding chlorine and bromide to see
Okay,
which one
for
is the most reactive.
in this reaction, apa yang dia cuba buat adalah he want to displace, okay? For example, dekat dalam for example ya, the semakin bawah dia tu, in our periodic table, the iodine, okay, it cannot replace lah. Basically, chlorine can replace bromine. Okay, dia akan, kita panggil dia sebagai displacement reaction, boleh tukar. Chlorine will can replace bromine, bromine can replace iodine. Tapi iodine tak boleh nak nak displace bromine and chlorine sebab dia semakin bawah. Paling tinggi fluorine, fluorine can displace chlorine, bromine and iodine. Tapi chlorine can only displace bromine and iodine. And bromine can only displace iodine.
So general rule of thumb, we're going to find that the one that wants to become the ion in the reaction is going to be the more reactive species. So here we added a little bit of cyclohexane to the top of each halogen. By doing this, it allows the halogen, which is a nonpolar molecule, to get dissolved in the upper layer of the cyclohexane. We do this so that when we add the corresponding sodium salts to see if these things react, we can look at the top layer and see what element is in that top layer. And that'll tell us if a reaction occurred or if a reaction did not occur. Now the H solution is mixed up, we're going to start by adding sodium bromide and sodium iodide to the flask that contains the chlorine.
Okay, nombor satu dia bubuh apa? Chlorine. You put sodium bromide and sodium
You
iodide.
notice that you see a color change right away. We're going to add the sodium chloride and sodium iodide to the bromine solution. First, it looks like nothing happens when we add the sodium chloride to the bromide, and we see some color change adding the sodium iodide to the bromine. So now we add some sodium chloride and sodium bromide to both of the iodine flask, and at first glance we don't see any color change.
Okay.
So now we're going to mix up the tubes to get
Okay, and nombor tadi dia buka chlorine and sodium bromide. And then apa akan jadi adalah bromine ni, bromine from bromide from NaBr ni akan chlorine akan displace bromine dalam NaBr ni. Sebab chlorine is higher than bromine. Therefore dia boleh replace saja. And then we can get bromine, and then apa akan jadi? Sodium tersebut akan bergabung dengan chlorine, kita akan dapat sodium chloride.
everything reacted and mixed together. So we can now see an orange.
Okay, and then chlorine and sodium bromide, chlorine can displace iodine. Apa iodine? Iodide ni dalam sodium iodide ni. Sebab chlorine is higher than iodine dalam periodic table. And then kita akan dapat iodine and sodium chloride.
Layer on top of the first chlorine tube, which indicates that we have
Okay, bromine and sodium chloride, no reaction. Why no reaction? Because bromine ni dekat bawah chlorine in periodic table. Therefore, bromine ni and dia punya electronegativity ni adalah rendah compared to chlorine. Therefore, it cannot displace chlorine in sodium chloride.
that has formed. The second tube, we can see the
Okay, and
purple
then
color, which
bromine and sodium iodide boleh sebab apa? Bromine is higher than iodine. Iodine dalam periodic table. Therefore, bromine can displace I ni in NaI, and then kita akan produce iodine plus sodium bromide.
tells us we have iodine forming in the second chlorine tube. In the third tube, you could we just still see bromine on top, so there's no reaction with that third
Okay.
tube.
Iodine and
Fourth tube,
NaCl tak
you
boleh jadi
see
apa. Okay.
iodine starting to form.
And then iodine and
Explain why a
NaBr
little bit more.
cannot happen. Iodine boleh dengan apa saja, dengan iodine dengan elemen yang dekat bawah iodine, which is astatine. So kalau kita react with iodine and sodium acetate and AAT, therefore kita akan produce astatine, okay, dengan sodium iodide. Okay. Sorry. Kita ada astatine and sodium iodide. Macam tu. Kita akan ada iodine and sodium
And then the last two
astatine.
tubes, we see iodine still there, so we can tell that there's no reaction. Based on the results of these experiments.
Alright, okay.
Teacher, aluminium actually has react with chlorine, right?
Yes, because it's metal, so we will divide the the reactivity into three types: reaction with water, reaction with metal, and reaction with alkaline.
So what about if chlorine and aluminium in swimming pool?
Chlorine and aluminum in our swimming pool, we do not have like chlorine. Okay, we have derivative of chlorine. Okay, it's not really the chlorine. Okay, maybe some salt in it. Okay, because if we have this element by themselves, it's quite toxic and it's quite dangerous lah. Okay, because it can react easily. Therefore, they use they use this their salts. For example, in our toothpaste, dalam ubat gigi tu, we have Florida. Okay, but we do not have fluorine. We have Florida. The salt of fluorine. Okay, to avoid our teeth become decay. That's why next kita akan pergi ke applications of elements in group 17. Okay. Common uses of halogens. You can see, okay, fluorine, but we do not use that fluorine lah. Kita use Florida, fluoride, the salt of fluorine, okay, as additive into paste to help prevent tooth decay. And then chlorine, we do not use chlorine. Chlorine we use Chlorida, okay, some type of salt, but bukan sodium chloride lah, okay. In bleaching agents, okay, and bacteria.
Teacher,
And then, yes.
and also why does the aluminium actually melt when have these gases? These four gases.
Because it react with that chemical the elements lah. It reacts with element, produce new elements. Produce new substance. For example, tadi with aluminium and chlorine, it will produce aluminium trichloride, AlCl3. That's a new product.
So
This chemical reaction.
so it naturally makes it melt, or you add heat to make it melt.
Sorry?
So you can just add chlorine to make it melt, or you need to add heat to make it melt.
Have to add? Can you write the questions?
Do you need to add heat to make?
Oh, okay. Do we need to add heat? Down the group, we need to add heat. But if mostly for fluorine, yes, we need to add heat. Kita kena panaskan dulu the aluminium. Kalau kita, but sometimes kalau macam liquid bromine tadi tak perlu pun, okay. But for going down the group, iodine, astatine, we need to add heat. But not for the aluminium, for the halogens. Aluminium do not need heat. Okay, but for iron nanti kita akan tengok we need heat. Okay, not melts basically. Okay, this just react. Okay, not melt. It's not melting. Okay, and then for bromine, okay, silver bromide untuk a photographic film, and iodine ni. Basic kalau kita siapa tahu, okay, kita tak bukan siapa tahu lah. siapa aware, okay, iodine ni ada dalam in our table salt, okay, dalam garam tu, NaCl. Basically NaCl tu apa yang akan jadi when they harvest the NaCl, they will spray with iodine. Okay, because iodine ni, if our body does not have enough iodine, kita akan dapat bengkak dekat our typhoid ataupun terror ataupun goiter, something like that. And okay, and then in our undang-undang pun, undang-undang negara pun dia cakap, KKM dia cakap, in our table salt must be a certain amount of iodine juga. Kalau kita pergi tengok dekat kedai, dia akan tulis iodinized salt. Okay, and then iodine ni pun can use to treat as an antiseptic lah untuk skin. Okay, okay, the physical properties. Okay, the color become darker from colorless until purplish for iodine. Okay, they are non-metals. Okay, they are non-metals. And then atomic radius increase. Why the atomic radius increase? Because we have more the number of electron and the number of proton number increase lah. And then the number of shell pun increase. That's why the atomic radius increase. Supaya untuk macam kalau kita ada macam nak cakap, basically the number of, how can we define something as metal where it can is metallic bonding lah basically. Metal basically they have their own properties. Okay, the physical properties for metal: shiny, ductile, okay, malleable. And then for example shiny, kalau iron, okay, gold, shiny. And then ductile mean it can conduct, bukan conduct electricity. Ductile is we can make it as a wire. Okay, we can stretch it as wire. And malleable, we can ketuk-ketuk it and can create something, sheets, like a sheet. Okay, SHE. It's not shiny. It's not shiny. Shiny like macam metal shiny, silverish. Okay, not glowy, not glowing. Okay, and then lagi satu properties of metal, they can conduct electricity. Okay, itu paling important. They can conduct electricity, they can conduct heat. But for non-metal, they cannot conduct heat and cannot conduct electricity. But for semi-metal, okay, they can conduct, ada juga yang boleh conduct heat and conduct electricity, but they are not shiny. Okay, and then physical properties of halogen. Okay, density increase because the atomic radius increase. However, kalau kita compare group 17 and group 1, okay, the group 1 melting point down the group decreases, but for group 17 increases. Why? Because in group 1, going down the group, okay, for group 1, it is easier for the group 1 to lose an electron. Lagi senang dia nak lose an electron. Therefore, the attraction are weaker lah between the nucleus and the van der Waals forces, something like that, something itu. But for group 17, okay, down the group, it is easier. No, bukan easier. It's harder for the group 17 down the group to receive an electron. Because the distance between the nucleus and the outermost and the nucleus and the valence electron increases, the attraction become weaker. Okay, itu the difference between group 1 and group 17. Alright, okay, and then tadi tu kita dah pergi the reaction, the chemical properties. Okay, this is the name. Halide, okay, halide fluorine, okay, fluoride, chlorine, chloride. Okay, next. Okay, I want you to go to your Google Classroom. Okay, ada activities for today. Okay, kita akan buat ni dulu, group 17. Okay, I already did two template for you. Okay. Oh, okay, kita akan ada for the physical properties. Okay, remember on the left hand side tu, on the right hand side, reactivity ni is not a physical properties, but I put in here supaya lagi senang nak untuk semua compare kan. Okay, but remember reactivity is not a physical properties, it is a chemical properties. Okay, I will do 3 example for you first untuk chemical equation. Okay, nanti just copy the template lah. Okay. Okay, kita akan pergi dulu untuk chlorine with water. Okay, this is the okay. Kalau kita tengok dekat sini, okay, the arrow ni is quite different. Okay, bukan satu arah. Okay, we can go from left and we can go to right juga. Okay, this is we call as reversible reaction. It can reverse lah, but it depends on ni lah apa. It depends on certain conditions juga. Okay, so if you have this type of arrow, it means the reaction can be reversible. Kalau kita ada satu arah saja to the right, we have one direction, the reaction cannot be reversed. Okay, kita pergi cikgu akan tunjuk dulu. I will show you the chemical equation for reaction of halogen with water. Okay, halogen tadi tu, okay. For example, for chlorine, put red lah, warna merah. Oops, sorry, silap. We have chlorine. As water, we can get strong acid and weak acid. Okay, what is strong acid and weak acid? We get two type of acid. So how do we know it is strong or it is weak? Okay, kita tanya dia ke? Okay, this is basically strong acid. The acid dissociates completely. Maksudnya dia akan terurai completely menjadi hydrogen. Yang weak acid not completely. Kita akan tengok the type of acid yang akan produce. Okay, we have chlorine. We try Cl dulu, but remember chlorine is diatomic gas. So diatomic, so must put Cl2 and then the state is gases. Kita akan tambah water which is H2O. And water is in a liquid. So put L, small l. Okay, kita akan dapat strong acid. Strong acid yang akan jadi adalah kita akan dapat HCl. Okay. H ni combine with Cl. Kita akan dapat HCl. Okay, HCl is not liquid, it is aqueous. Sebab there will be a little bit of water in that. Plus, the weak acid adalah when you have oxygen. You can get a H, O and Cl. So kita dapat HOCl. In aqueous as well. This is the chemical equation. Okay, you can just copy lah. Oh, boleh zoom in, sorry. Okay, hello. Because they are, this is chemical properties, so they will have the same chemical reaction because they are in the same group. Okay, they are in the same group, so they will have the same chemical reaction. Okay. Next, I will show you halogen with metal, bromine.
So what is strong CiAQ?
Sorry, I cannot hear you. Hello. Okay, for bromine, okay, kita akan react halogen plus metal. Okay.
Hello.
Bromine plus metal. Yes. Can get metal bromide. For in this example, we use Br2. Okay. Br2
Cikgu.
plus metal. We use Fe. Then metallic. No, not metallic bromine. We call as metal bromide. Okay. Get metal bromide Fe.
Cikgu, cikgu.
So, ya betul.
Kenapa nak edit file tu cikgu yang group 17 ni?
Aha. Oh,
Tadi
aduh,
nak
maaf.
edit.
Cikgu tersilap hantar. Cikgu tersilap buat apa? Share for only student can view je. Jap, nanti cikgu edit. Okay.
Cikgu.
Tak apa, nanti pergi balik. Okay, for untuk this. Okay, I need you to answer this dulu. Okay, answer yang ni dulu. Sementara cikgu nak edit. Sekejap, cikgu tunjuk. Okay, answer this dulu. 4 question. Okay, sementara cikgu nak edit that activities dulu. Okay. Just write the answer dulu. Alright, do this question. Okay, cikgu dah edit. Okay, you can open, okay, answer dalam template ni. Okay, in this template saya dah ada okay, this one. Okay, can jawab dekat sini. For object test question, okay, just A, B, C. Oops, sorry. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Tadi tu, and then this questions lah untuk ni. This is basically your homework lah, jawab yang ni je. Okay, this, yang ni kena completekan juga. Okay, basically kalau halogen ni react with water, okay, halogen react with water, and we will produce two type of acid, strong acid and weak acid. Okay, bukan however lah. Okay, so dia akan change litmus paper. Okay, we change our litmus paper. Let me show you. Okay, it will change our litmus paper from blue to red because it is acidic. Okay, the product is strong acid and weak acid. Okay, since we have strong acid, okay, it will bleach. Okay, untuk fluorine dengan chlorine, okay, chlorine and bromine lah. Okay, the litmus paper after it turns red, it will turn white, jadi putih. From blue jadi red, from red to white. Sebab apa jadi white? Sebab dia dah bleach kan tu. Dia dah lunturkan warna apa dia? The one of the litmus paper. But for iodine and astatine and ke bawah semua tu, okay, HOI tu walaupun dikata strong acid, but it is not as strong as HBr and HCl. Therefore, it is unable to turn the litmus paper white. It only turn from blue to red. Untuk blue to red saja.
Teacher, it
Yes.
turn white. It turn white because it reached the limit. Is it correct?
Sorry, it turns white because
It reached the limit and destroy the paper.
because it's strong oxidizing agent.
So it destroys the paper.
Because the HCl and then HOCl, they are strong oxidizing agent. The Cl itself is strong. The Cl and Br itself too, it is strong. So it will turn the litmus paper blue to red, and then after that, sekejap je, it will turn into white. Because it is strong oxidizing agent, both of the weak and strong acid for Cl and Br. But for iodine, okay, it is not as strong. Okay, it's weaker than Cl and Br. Okay, because the reactivity decreases, therefore it cannot turn the litmus paper to white. Only blue to red saja.
Okay.
That's why kalau kita guna bleach, okay, you use bleach untuk basuh jamban kan. Okay, basically apa iklan akan tunjuk you got a shiny apa toilet semua benda tu. That's the chemical properties of chlorine lah. Okay, can bleach something. Okay, and then untuk dengan metal tadi kita when you saw the video, okay, the aluminium, the flame, okay, chlorine, the first one chlorine, the gas tu the iron will glows brightly, and then kita akan nampak brown solid. And then kita pergi ke bromine, it glows moderately, maksudnya dia semakin perlahan, sederhana. And then after that yang iodine, it only glows dimly, maksudnya api dia tu tak kuat, and then it didn't hit. Macam tadi dengan aluminium tadi tu. And then the product is brown lah. Brown ni because from the iron basically, Fe. Okay, after that, okay, this is dengan sodium hydroxide. Okay, I cannot find any video tentang sodium hydroxide ni. Okay, basically dia akan produce sodium salts, 2 sodium salts and water. Okay, kalau apa yang kita tengok sodium salts ni, warna dia juga. Okay, kalau kita tengok, I cannot find any video yang tunjukkan this reaction. Okay, it will form a colorless solution. Okay, the greenish yellow, kita tahu chlorine is in greenish yellow, dissolve quickly to form colorless solution. Semua akan tukar into colorless solution. Okay, bromine, reddish brown liquid, dissolve moderately, not quickly, but slightly slower than chlorine. Okay, to become colorless solution. And iodine paling slow. Kita akan pergi how to write the chemical equation for number for number 3 ni. Okay, basically just write. Okay, don't forget to put the state of matter. Okay, if PR is solid, S for solid, Fe solid.
Teacher, why do we need to write the 3 after BR?
Because you need 3 BR can combine with with 1 Fe. Fe can donate 1 Fe can donate 3 electron. Okay, therefore 1 BR can only receive 1 electron. Therefore we need 3 BR lah.
So at the front we need to write 3 BR.
No, we cannot change this one. We cannot change yang nombor this before after BR ni, after element. We cannot change it. We can only change after before this. After we cannot change. Macam ni we cannot change. 2, 3 we cannot change. It is memang dah fixed. Okay.
No, I mean the most front, like 2.
Yes, we must put 3 BR. Yes. Like that. Okay. Okay, we will go into learn later in semester 2 untuk yang ni. Okay, just put your ni lah, your state of matter dekat sini. Liquid. Okay, then untuk ini kita akan bikin for iodine. Okay, iodine crystals. So iodine will react with alkaline. Merah. Okay, iodine will react with alkaline. This example kita akan gunakan sodium hydroxide. NaOH, and it will produce a metal halide, which is sodium iodide. Metal halide, which is sodium iodide. Okay, and water. Okay, therefore I 2 plus with NaOH. We get sodium halide. Okay, and then sodium halide mean basically it just have oxygen lah. Okay, and H2O. Okay, you can just put nanti state of matter you have to put. Don't forget. Okay, and then kena balance lah. Okay, you have to balance the coefficient. Okay, sorry, balance. Okay, untuk ni just substitute je lah nanti ya. Just copy this. But substitute the iodine with bromine and chlorine. Okay, I ni just substitute with with I, Br and Cl. Okay, next. Cikgu akan masuk sekejap a little bit on period 3. Okay, before this, we learn group 1, group 17, group 18. Okay, now kita akan masuk ke period 3. Okay, we are going to learn about physical properties sahaja dulu for hari ni. Okay, it's just a short ni lah. Okay, short. Sekejap cikgu sharekan. Alamak. Okay, in period 3, basically the horizontal. Okay, kita akan include all the transition metal. Okay, we can see the elements from metal, it will change into non-metal. Okay, don't worry. Chemical equation tu just salin je dulu, okay? Just salin je based on our template yang cikgu bagi. Just substitute the element with the element yang kosong tu. Okay. Dalam ni cikgu dah bagi dah. Dalam buku teks pun ada. Okay, cikgu dah bagi yang ni. Okay, for chlorine nanti just substitute I ni with Cl tu Cl. Okay, and then for this pun Br substitute with I Cl and then substitute with Cl.
Teacher, what's the symbol for alkaline metals?
Alkaline metals, it can be the element lah. For group 1, you can have I, Li, K, Na.
You can choose whichever one.
Which one? For number 2, the reaction of halogen with metal.
No. For number 3, halogen reaction with alkaline metals.
Wait, let's see. Alkaline solution, okay. Sodium hydroxide. Mostly paling the most easiest one, sodium hydroxide lah. But you can use potassium hydroxide, okay. Same juga sebab alkaline.
So we write ourselves.
Sorry, you write what?
We write ourselves like last week lah.
Yes, last week.
Do we have notes on this?
Yes, I already post in Google GC. Kalau tengok dekat sini. Materials for 12 and 13 July.
Last week also have
Yes, last week. I will post materials and recording dekat materials, notes and recording.
Last week also have.
Okay. For period 3, okay, we go back to period 3. It's already 10:45. Okay. I take a little bit of time, sorry. Okay. Okay, before this group, we find the physical properties down the group, okay, from the top to the bottom, okay. But for period, we go across the period from the left to the right. Okay, this is in period 3. What we can see, the number of the shells are the same. We have 3 shells, okay. But the number of valence electron increases. Okay, the number of electron increases. So, what will happen to the size of the atomic size? Will it stay the same, or will be slightly smaller, or become increases or decreases? Can anyone give your reasons?
It increases
Why?
because it has more, bigger, because there's more electrons.
More electrons. Okay.
And the space between it becomes bigger.
The space between become bigger. Okay. Okay. It is not correct, because even though we have the electron increases, okay, when the electron increases, the number of protons and the number of neutrons also increases. Therefore, what happens is the attraction between the nucleus and the electron become bigger. For example, if in Na, okay, kita ada 11 protons, okay, 11 proton and 11 electrons. But in argon, we have 18 proton and 18 electrons. Therefore, the attraction nucleus between nucleus and electron in argon will be greater than in sodium, because the number of electron increases. But the size is not really taklah besar big difference sangat. Okay, it's not really big difference, but the size is significant. It slightly decreases. Okay, from left to the right, the atomic size will decreases because the number of proton increases. Okay, therefore this attraction between the nucleus and the proton sorry, the nucleus and the electron will be increases. And then the radius will be decreases, slightly decreases. Okay, for this physical properties, okay, just this for physical property, just fill in lah. Okay, you can get the proton number, physical state ni, sama ada gas, solid or liquid. Okay, then the atomic radius will be decreases. Why? Okay, just fill in the blank. The number of proton in the nucleus increases, but the number of the shells remain the same. Therefore, the attraction force between the nucleus and the electrons, the valence electron become stronger because the number of tu lah. So dia semakin rapat. Okay, for example, kalau kita ada macam tarik tali kan, okay. If you tarik tali, lagi ramai orang, lagi kecil dia punya pergerakan tali yang bergerak tu. Okay, for example, kalau we have 5 people on the left, 5 people on the right, kalau kita tarik tali, probably the tali akan bergerak lagi banyak kan. You can see that the tali will move banyak-banyak. The range of motion of the tali bergerak lagi banyak. Okay. But if you have 10 or 11 person on the both sides, okay, pergerakan tali tu sebut akan jadi sikit-sikit je because we have more energy yang akan tarik tu. Pergerakan sikit saja. Okay. Okay, and then metal properties. Basically ada 3. Okay, metal, non-metal and metalloid. So basically sampai aluminium is all metal. And then chlorine sampai argon adalah non-metal. Okay, so written 48. Do you want to do some quizzes? 10 questions? Or you want me to finish the class? Basically dah habis lah kelas. Or do you want to make some quizzes? Quiz, alright. Cikgu akan share quizzes, okay? Basically 10 questions. Wait, sorry ya. Wait, copy link address. Alright, okay, klik dekat link. Okay, write your name and your class. Ya, yeah, okay, siapa dah tulis tak apa. Just write your name lah. Okay, come on. Nanti tak sempat masuk next class. Okay, cikgu endkan dulu recording Okay.